The Arizona Diamondbacks took 2 out of 3 against the Cleveland Guardians in a roller coaster, chaotic ride of a series. It started with game one happening on Friday, where the Diamondbacks were down 2-0, had no life on offense until they scored 4 runs in the eighth inning to win the ball game 4-2. It was Brandon Garcia who closed the game on Friday, as Paul Sewald has quickly regressed into the very bottom of the song or of the Diamondbacks bullpen. It was really spurred on by the top of the lineup, and I believe it was Gabriel Moreno who had the big 2-run single that really blew the lead open for the Diamondbacks in this game. Yeah, so it was Perdomo who singled that scored Tato and moved Carroll to second and Waldschmidt to third. Then Moreno singled to right. Carroll and Waldschmidt scored on fielding error, and then Marte singled to right and Perdomo scored. So the first, it was Tawa and Waldschmidt who got things going for the Diamondbacks in that eighth inning, and then the top of the order did what they were supposed to do and bring those guys in home safely. And then Brandon Garcia closed it out. It was a relatively decent showing from Mitch Bratt in this game. He pitched 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run. Oh, sorry, it was 4-2. So 5 innings pitched, one run. It was earned. He had 4 walks and 2 strikeouts. So you don't like the 4 walks and the low number of strikeouts, but he allowed 1 run in 5 innings on 82 pitches. He still isn't all the way stretched out yet, so no surprise that the Diamondbacks are bringing him along slowly, but a really great effort and a much better effort than his counterpart Cole Drake was able to do on Saturday, which we'll get into in a minute. But then the bullpen held it down. It was Taylor Clark, Jonathan Loaisiga, Kevin Ginkel, and Brandon Garcia. None of them allowed a run, and none of them allowed a hit. Just Loaisiga only allowed a walk, and that was it. So Diamondbacks bullpen got it done Friday night. Now let's get to Saturday, because that game was insane. That game was so crazy for the Diamondbacks. The Guardians opened the game, scored 2 runs early in the first inning against Cole Drake, which was, it was kind of expected after how well Bratt performed. There was just no way you were going to be able to get that good of a showing from Drake. His final line was 4 innings pitched, 94 pitches, only 54 for strikes. He did have 6 strikeouts and 1 walk, so that was better, but he gave up 5 hits and 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched. And he continues to look like he's a step behind Bratt as far as the guy in the rotation that's going to stay up when Michael Soroka comes back. I do think it's going to be Mitch Bratt over Cole Drake right now. But we'll see. Maybe Cole Drake will get another chance to start before his spot in the rotation is taken. And then it was Gerardo Carrillo, who again got another win. He was the hero against the Pirates earlier this week, and he pitched 2 innings, 31 pitches, 20 strikes, 3 strikeouts, 1 hit, no walks. And it was Carrillo who really kept the Diamondbacks in the game when they were down 2-0 and then tied 2-2, because the Diamondbacks did score 2 runs in that 5th inning. In that 5th inning, they were able to score 2 runs thanks to a Perdomo reaching on an infield single, and Waldschmidt scored on a throwing error. And then Moreno got grounded into a fielder's choice where Carroll was able to score, and Perdomo was out at second. And then it looked like the Diamondbacks rally was going to continue in the 6th inning, where they had bases loaded, and lo and behold, Corbin Carroll came up in a bases loaded situation. He has 5 grand slams early in his career, and has a 341 average with the bases loaded. But unfortunately, he was not able to put any distance between uh, the Diamondbacks and the Guardians in the 6th inning as he flied out uh, to center field, and it was a good hit ball. It just went right to the center fielder. So you thought that there was an opportunity there to break the game open, kind of like the Diamondbacks were able to do the night before when they scored 4 runs in that 8th inning. You felt like, oh man, here we go. Here's our chance to break this game open, but they weren't able to get it done. But then we go to the top of the 7th, and that inning was crazy because it was started by a Perdomo home run, and then pretty much everyone reached base, and it was capped off. They scored 7 runs in that inning. Vargas had an RBI, McCann double, and got 2 runs home to make the game 6-2. And then it was Corbin Carroll who ended up driving in per what felt like the nail in the coffin at the time, a 400-foot 3-run home run that scored James McCann and Ryan Waldschmidt. And it was 9-2. We felt great. I ended up, leaving the restaurant in Sedona because I was like, okay, we'll be able to, we'll win this game. I can go home, get situated. Maybe I'll watch the rest of the game later. But then, of course, and on the drive home, you saw, oh yeah, guess what? Nolan Arenado homer to left to make it a 10-2 lead for Arizona. But then that's where the wheels fell off, and Torey Lovullo put in Paul Sewald in a low leverage situation, which is okay. I understand why they put Sewald in, but what I don't understand is why they left Sewald in for 5 batters. It's pretty obvious to me that once the first 3 batters go 3 for 3, the next 2 are probably going to get on base. I didn't think anything was going to change once Sewald came in, or once Sewald faced the 4th and 5th batters. And guess what? It did. Sewald gave up a home run to DeLauder, and then Halpin singled to left, which scored Manzardo and moved Martinez to second. And then Bailey hit a sacrifice fly to center, and Martinez scored. And then the Diamondbacks brought in Kevin Ginkel to hopefully save some runs, but unfortunately, Ginkel gave up a double that scored everyone else who was on base. And so Paul Sewald's final line was 5 hits, 5 runs, no outs, and the ball game was 10-7. And we had this crazy Cleveland Guardians lady that they kept panning to over and over and over again. She was definitely all about that rally. But then in the top of the 9th inning, we had Perdomo, who had a huge single to center that scored Barossa and McCann, and eventually moved Carroll to third as well. So another bases loaded situation, and Perdomo came up huge, which was awesome. And last podcast episode, we talked about Perdomo and how he has to be much better with runners in scoring position, hitting in that 2 spot. And guess what? He was. This game, he had 4 hits, scored 1 run, had 3 RBIs, no strikeouts, and no walks, which is kind of surprising for Perdomo. But he was 4 of 6, and just really, really came to life in this Guardians series. And I believe and yesterday, even in a loss, he hit one that was probably a foot short of a home run. He was 2 for 4 against the Guardians in game 1, scored a run and had 2 hits and had an RBI as well. So he was a big part of keeping that rally going in that 8th inning in game 1 as well. And it secured the Diamondbacks a series win, where the Diamondbacks were able to get into that second wild card spot, which is huge. so huge right now. And so, yeah, Perdomo's just been playing much better baseball. And I said, hey, this might be the top. This might be the month. The month of August might be where Perdomo goes crazy. And all of a sudden, one really brilliant month that we've seen Perdomo have, we've seen Cattell and we've seen Carroll have these kind of months where, it doesn't look like they're having the greatest seasons ever. And then all of a sudden, you get hot, you hit five to 10 home runs in 1 month. All of a sudden, you become an extra base machine. You're walking a lot, and everything you hit suddenly just starts squirting out of the infield. And all of a sudden, you have a month where you're hitting 400. You're knocking guys in. You're hitting with runners in scoring position, which the Diamondbacks are still really having a hard time doing. I mean, on Sunday, they had a chance to rally down 5-0 after, Merrill Kelly had not the greatest start in the world, and the Diamondbacks had a chance to make something happen. But unfortunately, it was a combined effort between the weather and the Diamondbacks where they had the bases loaded again right before the rain delay, but unfortunately they stopped the game because the rain was getting so bad, and then the Diamondbacks just weren't able to. Yeah, the Diamondbacks just weren't able. Yeah, it was in the top of the sixth. Um, they and this was after uh kerfuff, or this was kind of when Tawa aggravated some of these Guardians players that were so horrified that Tawa was going to try and bunt while someone was throwing a perfect game. So after that, Tawa singled to right, and then Vargas grounded into a fielder's choice. And then Locklear struck out. Corbin Carroll walked. And then Perdomo walked, which loaded the bases. But then, unfortunately, Gabriel Moreno lined out to center. It was a hard hit ball, but just the center fielder made a good play on it. And so the Diamondbacks rally fell short there. Maybe if they had been able to score there, things would have been different. And in between Carroll walking and Perdomo's walk, there was a hour and a half rain delay, I think is what it ended up being. So, not a great way to cap off this series, but moving forward, the Diamondbacks have an absolutely monster series against the San Diego Padres coming up, because right now the Diamondbacks have a record of 59-53, and they're tied for the second spot in the wild card. And guess who's right behind the Diamondbacks? It is your San Diego Padres, who are 58-54, one game back of the Diamondbacks and Phillies, and really feel like the team that could make a run at the wild card right now. That's not in it right now. I think the wild card is Chicago probably has it locked up unless they go on a massive losing streak. And then it's Arizona, Philadelphia, and San Diego. Miami's a game and a half back, but we'll see what happens with Miami. It feels like they're potentially due for a fall off, but they do have a positive run differential of 13 right now. But right now it feels like a 4-team race for 3 spots. The Pirates are 3.5 games back. St. Louis is 4 games back. The Washington Nationals are 4.5 games back. So it wouldn't surprise me, and looks like the Nationals are kind of selling because they did trade Luis Garcia. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Cardinals and the Nationals decide to sell today. We'll see what Pittsburgh does. I don't think they buy or sell, really. They're kind of a young team, so no need to sell yet. And they don't really have a ton of guys to sell. But we'll see. Maybe they can win a few games and get back into the mix. But for right now, it is the Cubs, the Diamondbacks, the Phillies, and the Padres. And the Diamondbacks play 4 games against the Padres this weekend. So it would be incredible if the Diamondbacks could go 3-1 this week and put some separation between themselves and the Padres, because if you've been following this Diamondbacks team for a while, it feels like the Diamondbacks and the Padres kind of ebb and flow. They both get hot at the same time. They both go cold at the same time. They're always right near each other in this wild card race, always chasing the Diamondbacks. They're always chasing the Dodgers and always well behind the Dodgers. Hopefully, the Diamondbacks can win 3 out of 4 games against the Padres this series. That would be fantastic. And hopefully the Diamondbacks have added some new players to go along with that. In game 1, we have Michael King versus Brandon Pfaadt. So 2 of the better pitchers going right now in baseball. The Padres delayed King's start yesterday to today because the Padres know that this game is way more important than just about any other games that they might play this season. You have Michael King versus Brandon Pfaadt, and Brandon Pfaadt has pitched amazing, and it did start with a win in San Diego earlier this month as well. That's kind of where Brandon Pfaadt really started to take off after, I think it was his second performance back from Reno, and Brandon's just been killing it recently. His ERA is all the way down to 4. He has a 5-1 record, 1.29 WHIP. So Pfaadt's been dealing recently, so I feel really good about Pfaadt pitching tonight. And then you have Eduardo Rodriguez versus an undecided pitcher for the Padres, but Erod's 10-3, 2.48 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 130 innings pitched. I feel great about Erod pitching as well. The Diamondbacks have to win and have been winning pretty much every game this season that Erod's pitched as well. And then it's the back half of this series that I don't know how to feel about. Mitch Bratt is on 1 as a starter with a 5.23 ERA, a 1.84 WHIP. He did pitch okay against the Guardians in his start on Saturday. In his start on Friday, he pitched well. So maybe he can have another good showing against a Padres offense that hasn't been great, but like the Diamondbacks, has been much improved in the last month of July, where the Diamondbacks led the MLB in runs scored, if you can believe it. The Diamondbacks, this poor offense that we talked about for months, this really bad offense, finally decided to wake up and scored the most amount of runs in July. Can you believe it? So, yeah, Wednesday's game, Mitch Bratt, if the Diamondbacks can win that game, that would be huge with Mitch Bratt as a starter. And then Thursday's game looks like it'll be Walker Buehler, who has not pitched well this season. He has a 5.18 ERA. And that'll be against Cole Drake, who has a 4.85 ERA and 1.46 WHIP. Hopefully the Diamondbacks in the next few hours can go out and get a new starting pitcher that can take the place of one of these guys. But right now it seems like the Diamondbacks are not. Right now, the Diamondbacks, we really haven't heard anything about them going out and getting a left-handed bat or a pitcher. But my guess is that they will make something happen. It'll be right as the trade deadline is closing, because I think they're just waiting for teams to say, hey, we do actually need to trade some of these guys and we're going to drop our value on them because it's so close to the deadline. I think that's where the Diamondbacks are going with this, and hopefully Mike Hazen can pull off some Houdini magic, but they are hamstrung by not wanting to go over the salary cap and get into the luxury tax. So it's gonna be a wild what? Let's see. I'm recording this at 12:15 Arizona time. In the next 9 hours, a lot could happen with Diamondbacks baseball, because if they lose to the Padres tonight and they don't do much at the trade deadline, it'll feel like the end of the world. And if they do something at the trade deadline and they win tonight, and the offense continues to look great, and they can put up a ton of runs on Michael King, which would be awesome. Then we got something. Then you're looking at a team that feels like it's ready to go on a run to October. And that's nothing more. And we can't ask for much more as Arizona sports fans because we're not the Dodgers and we can't spend like the Dodgers can. And they did trade for Tariq Skubal, and that sucks. And that should make you angry. And there's different ways to even the disparity. I'm not going to say I agree with the players. I'm not going to say I agree with the owners, but baseball has to change this system where it makes teams scared to go and make big moves at the trade deadline. They need to figure out a way to make it so that every team can spend equal amounts or distribute revenue evenly, because the Dodgers have this big TV deal. They spend 60% of their revenue. The Diamondbacks spend 60% of their revenue. I saw this tweet from Jack Summers. I'll pull it up right here so I can get the exact details right. But let me see. Let's see. Oh, sorry. It's Mike TV 13. Diamondbacks spent 65% of their revenue on payroll. The Dodgers spent 60%. The difference is that LA has $850 million revenue and Arizona's $325 million. LA gets nearly the entire annual revenue of AZ just in their TV contract. And then Jack Summers tweeted correct. I don't know why this is so hard to grasp for so many issues. Revenue disparity first, which is root cause of spending disparity. Fix revenue disparity plus put in mechanisms to enforce spending from revenue share recipients, problem solved. But MLB doesn't want that. So if they can fix that some way, whether that's a salary cap or just evening revenue disparity, then hopefully it puts the Diamondbacks in a better position to compete for a World Series than it does right now. But even with that said, I hope this Diamondbacks team can go out and make some moves at the trade deadline. I hope this team can go out and play incredible baseball for the last 2 months of the season, because as fun as winning in the playoffs, as fun as winning in the playoffs is, what I ultimately want more than anything is for them to finish out this regular season strong and leave us as fans feeling good about the future of this Arizona Diamondbacks team by finally getting back to the playoffs for the first time since 2023.